Shocking news story coming out of the New York Post. Former UFC champion and current broadcaster Michael Bisping caught on a hot mic using phobic language. This isn't the first time this has happened. It seems to be a pattern emerging, and these media freaks are losing their mind because of this little comment that Bisping made during 298 last weekend. They're losing their mind. They want him gone. They want him sacked. They want an apology. They cannot believe this abhorrent behavior is just allowed at UFC. They cannot believe it. And there is a shit ton of articles across the board calling him out for his anti-LGBTQ stance. It's hysterical to see these absolute losers, absolute freak losers, like we saw during UFC's visit to Canada, like we saw from Alexander Lee, I believe is the man's name, who had a shit attack when Sean Strickland pointed out some common sense and some very, very common thoughts in terms of people being mentally ill. These people really don't do themselves any favors. Basically, the story goes that Michael Bisping was caught on a hot mic making a phobic remark during UFC 298. Whoa! Okay. While working for ESPN as an analyst, Bisping was discussing the events of the night and said, "What a guy," in reference to one of the fighters of the night. Bisping finished the segment, but the camera didn't cut away immediately. The hot mic caught the 44-year-old criticizing his own comments. "What a guy. That's effing gay," Bisping said. Bye-bye. This isn't the first time that Bisping's been embroiled in a controversy for making phobic remarks. Wasn't the first time. Okay, this will be interesting. Let's see what they come up with here. In 2016, he called opponent Luke Rockhold an anti-gay slur after winning the UFC 199. "Go F yourself, effing sucker," Bisping said before adding the word. Realizing his mistake, Bisping said, "Shit, I shouldn't have said that," before telling the media to delete the comment. Bisping has also used the same phobic slur whilst exchanging words with opponent George Rivera in the lead up to UFC 127, calling him another motherfucker. As captured on a UFC promotional video. Bisping retired from MMA in competition in May 2018. Okay. A lot of beeping and a lot of dodging words being used. Bottom line, should Michael Bisping lose his job as a ESPN UFC analyst? Should he lose the ability to use the banking system? Should he never be allowed out on public again because he used a phobic slur? What is actually going on? What do you want from this guy? Tell me this, right? This is the context that gets lost over and over again when it comes to these phobic slurs. A lot of people said to me last weekend, because I made a throwaway remark about Robert Whittaker, I called him soy, and people were like, "Hey bro, what do you mean he's soy? What, can you elaborate on that?" There was a couple of fighters a few months back, were in the octagon, had won a fight, were getting booed by the crowd, and these guys turned to the crowd and used another phobic slur.
I'm here with Charles Radke. Charles, how good did it feel to get your first UFC victory?
It felt great, and so all you up in the crowd, come down here and get some.
There is one thing I want to just touch on quickly. All right, and that's the interviews, the post-fight interviews. Did you hear them? There was some crazy stuff said post-fight.
Tell us about.
Okay, the post-fight interviews. They're just saying some real slurry, bigotry. Bad words.
Oh, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about.
Things you can't say in 2024. No. I just want everyone, all the fighters, okay, all the fighters that fight. And I understand you want to be real. Okay, you want to be real. I'm real. We're all real. And you want to be real with your fans, and you want to be you. You don't want to be, a stickler or anything like that. But just remember that we are under the spotlight in front of millions of fans, through all ages, real young kids watching.
Yeah.
And I don't know, set a good example.
Shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
And Robert Whittaker came out, made this virtuous speech about, we need to be better, guys. We need to do better. We've got so many eyes on us. We just can't be saying that bigoted stuff in 2024. That warrants a slap across the face with a pair of leather gloves, in my opinion, because you literally watch Israel Adesanya use the N-word over and over again.
Let's go, what's up? Let's go, yeah, what's up?
Get this
don't do
Absolutely fine. You've watched Adesanya playing with dogs' genitals and wearing pink nail varnish and wearing women's clothes. That's all fine as well. You don't call that out. You don't say, hey lads, we got a lot of kids watching. You know, maybe you shouldn't be in there splurting the N-word out every 5 seconds. All that stuff seems to get a pass, I think, because that's commonplace and it's what we've been taught and indoctrinated into thinking that is normal when it clearly isn't. But when someone points it out, like Sean Strickland, then you gotta go after them and be virtuous. Or these two lads that were using these phobic slurs in the octagon. And the point was made by myself at the time, and this applies to Michael Bisping 100% right now. Talking about himself making a little bit of a slip up and he wasn't really comfortable with what he said, and he uses these words. How is it a slur towards a certain tiny demographic of people? How is that a slur? If he was interviewing a gay fighter, which there is plenty of them in the UFC, if he was interviewing a gay fighter and then was caught on a hot mic 5 minutes later using it disparagingly towards someone, people would go, that's stupid. Why are you doing that? That's disgusting, and it's just a terrible human that actually says things like that behind people's back. But he was talking about himself in this kind of generic sense, and it's all about the manipulation of words. We grew up using these words. I've said this a million times. We grew up using these words. If one of the boys couldn't climb over a wall when you were getting chased for robbing an orchard, he was called these words. Nothing about his sexuality, nothing about trying to hurt people's feelings, nothing about the media shills having this virtuous feeling oozing up through their neck to go after people like Michael Bisping for this word that he used. No, he shouldn't be reprimanded. No, he should definitely not apologize. Don't ever apologize to these losers, bro. Don't apologize to these freaks. You apologize once and they will keep on coming. They will keep on coming after you and they won't let it go, like a dog with a bone. I looked it up here today after I saw the clip on social media, and there's like literally dozens of articles calling him phobic, calling him bigoted, calling for an apology, calling for his life to be eradicated because of this little word that he used in direction of himself. The guy was like being deprecating and talking about, oh man, I sounded stupid there, like, and he used this word. So what? Get a life. You got losers over here on Twitter with their UFC's phobic language problem extends to its broadcasters. Very, very serious issue. How about you aim the same energy towards the hundreds of thousands of children that are mentally damaged because social media and media outlets like you, legacy media outlets, have told them it's okay to change who you are from a very young age? How about you aim the same venom towards them? Even when you work for ESPN and you get caught saying that's effing gay live on air into a branded mic like Michael Bisping did, it seems you don't have to say sorry. Who do we gotta say sorry to? We gotta say sorry to you because your feelings were hurt? Who designates what this hate speech and apologies needed for everything are? Who decides that? Is it the media? Is it the common person on the street that decides that an apology is needed from this UFC commentator? Absolutely not. Over here in one of these articles, I read through it, right? Absolutely shocking article. Is what it is. They're just going after Bisping. It's just another person of interest that they can try shut down. And I hope that Bisping realizes, with all these lunatic virtuous nut jobs coming after him, that if you apologize or if you say I made a mistake, it would be the worst thing that you could do. They want you eradicated. Listen to the reference that they use here. One clip shared was from a feed shown by Chinese state broadcaster CCTV. But considering the mic Bisping was holding was an ESPN branded, you could be forgiven for thinking it might warrant at least an acknowledgement from the network. The simplest sorry wouldn't be the hardest word to say. After all, ESPN was confident enough to fire former employee Kelly Stewart in 2021 for a 9-year-old tweet that contained phobic slurs. So this media outlet referenced some reporter who lost their job because of a 9-year-old tweet in the same conversation about Michael Bisping getting away with it. You're telling me that's not trying to put pressure on the network that he works for and put pressure on him in general? Nice tactic, nice virtuous tactic. You're standing up for so many people. You're doing the world of good with that sort of rhetoric. Absolutely disgusting. Bisping should keep his job and he should plow on, don't apologize, and just ignore these absolute fools. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like, subscribe, and share. Cheers.